Cameras don't lie, and last night they captured a meltdown so explosive that reality TV producers must be celebrating, while fans everywhere are endlessly replaying every moment. Mendeecees Harris, a man once celebrated for his apparent transformation and commitment to redemption, completely lost control in the middle of an upscale Atlanta lounge. The event was so chaotic, so public, and so dramatic that it effectively shut down the night, broke the internet, and pulled both Yandy Smith and Scrappy squarely into what could arguably be the messiest love and hip-hop scandal in years. Mendeecees, who for so long was praised as a changed man, the husband who overcame a troubled past, the father who supposedly turned his life around after prison, the symbol of loyalty, perseverance, and second chances, revealed in an instant that beneath the polished image, the temper, the frustration, and the capacity for public outbursts had never really gone anywhere. And now the world is left with the questions that everyone watching last night is asking. Did we just witness the collapse of what many thought was the picture-perfect love and hip-hop couple? Did Scrappy really play the role of the homewrecker in this explosive scenario? And most importantly, what was it that pushed Mendeecees to the point where he could no longer contain his anger, his frustration, and his desperation, turning what should have been a quiet night out into a spectacle that has people talking, tweeting, and posting across every social media platform imaginable? To truly understand the magnitude of last night's blow-up, we have to rewind a little and set the scene. Mendeecees Harris has long carried a reputation for having a volatile temper. Long before the designer suits, the carefully curated family photos, and the public image of a man who had overcome his past, there was a history that included legal battles, prison time, and constant rumors that the woman by his side, Yandy Smith, was holding down more than a husband. She was holding down a man who could, at any moment, implode. This background was always part of the narrative for fans and critics alike. Supporters praised Yandy for her loyalty, her ability to weather the storms of Mendeecees' past, and her patience as he navigated the treacherous path from notoriety to redemption. Critics, however, always questioned how long such a dynamic could last, how long a woman could maintain the image of stability in the face of a man whose temper was famously explosive. And last night, in that lounge, the answer to those questions became painfully obvious. The tension between Mendeecees and Yandy was palpable the second they arrived. They looked perfect on the outside, Yandy stunning in a designer dress, Mendeecees exuding his usual confidence and poise, but those who were there could feel the invisible weight of stress and unspoken conflict. Yandy's smile, though radiant, appeared forced, and her posture was tightly closed off. Mendeecees, meanwhile, was glued to his phone, barely engaging with anyone around him. The air between them was thick with anticipation and unease, the kind of tension you could almost cut with a knife. Everything about that entrance screamed that something was wrong, that tonight would not just be another glamorous outing captured on camera, but a powder keg waiting for a spark. And then the spark arrived. Scrappy entered the VIP section, and for anyone who's followed this saga, you know that the history between Mendeecees and Scrappy has always been complicated. On camera, they can present a friendly, even jovial dynamic, but off camera, the relationship has been laced with tension, distrust, and rivalry. When Scrappy greeted Yandy with a hug, witnesses say Mendeecees' entire demeanor shifted instantly. His jaw tightened, his fists curled, and his gaze locked onto them with an intensity that left no room for misinterpretation. He was seeing something he didn't like, and he wasn't going to let it slide. Scrappy moved on after the greeting, but the damage had already been done. Yandy leaned over and whispered something to Mendeecees. No one knows exactly what was said, but whatever it was, it acted as the fuse to ignite the explosive reaction to come. In a single, breathless moment, Mendeecees slammed his glass on the table and barked, "So that's what we're doing now?" The tension that had been building all night erupted instantly, filling the lounge with a palpable, almost electric anxiety. Yandy didn't flinch, didn't even raise her voice. She remained composed, ice in her veins, and delivered the words that would send shockwaves through the room. "I don't know what you're talking about." But that calmness, instead of diffusing the situation, seemed to pour more fuel onto Mendeecees' fire. His response was loud, booming, and filled with the desperation of a man who felt betrayed. "Don't play with me, Yandy. Don't sit here in my face and act like you don't know what's going on." And then she delivered the line that would define the night. "So if you're so pressed, why don't you go ask Scrappy?" The entire lounge froze. Security began inching closer. Fans whipped out their phones. It was a moment of pure, unscripted chaos, the kind of scene that reality TV thrives on, but that no one can truly stage to feel so real. Mendeecees' face turned crimson. His hands shook visibly as he struggled to contain his rage, and in a moment of sheer uncontrollable anger, he grabbed Yandy's arm. It wasn't hard enough to cause injury, but it was enough to make everyone around gasp in shock. Yandy reacted instantly, yanking her arm free and snapping, "Don't touch me." That was all it took. Mendeecees' restraint evaporated completely, and what followed would be replayed across social media for days, weeks, and likely months to come.
He flipped the table, bottles smashed, glasses shattered, food went flying across the VIP section, hitting velvet ropes and floor alike. Security rushed in to contain the scene, but the room had already erupted into complete chaos. Mendeecees' voice boomed over the commotion. "Who the hell do you think you are, Yandy? You think you can make a fool out of me?" And Yandy, ever calm, ever collected, didn't scream, cry, or plead. She simply smiled. A cold, knowing smile, and delivered a line that would go viral almost instantly. "Maybe you should ask Scrappy." It was the moment social media collectively lost it. Within minutes, videos were circulating, clips were trending, and the narrative of Mendeecees as a calm, reformed man began to crumble. But the night wasn't over. Scrappy, unbothered, walked back into the room, almost as if to punctuate the destruction that had unfolded. Mendeecees' fury immediately targeted him. "It's him, isn't it? You've been seeing Scrappy behind my back?" Yandy didn't even flinch. She leaned back, cool and composed, and delivered the devastating line. "Maybe you should have been paying more attention." The reaction was instantaneous. Scrappy, with a smug half-smile, simply said, "It is what it is, bro." Mendeecees lunged toward him, security barely keeping him at bay. Drinks spilled, chairs toppled, and fans screamed in excitement and horror as the entire event went viral within minutes. The footage was everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and the court of public opinion rendered its verdict. Mendeecees was no longer the man he wanted the world to believe he was. And yet, this wasn't just a moment of anger. This wasn't simply reality TV drama spilling into the real world. This was the unraveling of a carefully curated public image. Mendeecees had spent years trying to prove he was a changed man, someone who had left behind his past, who had become the husband and father that Yandy and the public deserved. And yet, in one explosive, unforgettable moment, all of that carefully crafted image was stripped away. Fans are now split. Some claim Yandy orchestrated this moment as a way to expose Mendeecees' true nature, a man she may have known was capable of losing control at any moment. Others point to rumors suggesting that her connection with Scrappy goes far beyond friendship, that their relationship has been quietly developing behind the scenes for months. And then there are those who believe that none of this was real at all, that it's simply the latest plot twist in a reality TV storyline carefully designed to drive ratings and social media engagement. No matter which camp you fall into, one thing is clear: Mendeecees' meltdown was not just a fleeting moment, it was a turning point, a public exposure of a man struggling to control his emotions, his relationships, and his carefully managed persona. And now the fallout continues. Yandy's icy composure has earned her praise from fans who see her as strong, unshakable, and in control. Scrappy's smug confidence has made him both villainous and entertaining, while Mendeecees is being scrutinized as a man unable to manage his temper, unable to protect his family, and unable to control the narrative of his own life. At its core, this wasn't just about anger. It was about control, about image, and about perception. And last night, Mendeecees lost it. What began as a tense night out in Atlanta turned into viral chaos, and the world is now left wondering, was this the final chapter for one of Love and Hip Hop's most prominent couples? Or is it just the beginning of a scandal that could destroy everything they've built? One thing is certain: reality TV fans, social media users, and gossip blogs will be dissecting every detail for weeks to come. And the next episode promises to be even more explosive. So, what's your take? Is Yandy guilty? Was Mendeecees justified in his meltdown? Did Scrappy cross the line? Or is he just caught in the middle of chaos beyond his control? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.